Welcome back to Bust Picks. It is episode 21. We can legally drink now, Donovan.
Yes. Yes, we can.
We probably should have had a beer or two before this.
That's all right. No worries. No worries.
How's your day going?
Busy.
Yeah, it's
Busy. It's filled. But it's great.
It's been a long week. We are now at the end of the football season. It's over.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Super Bowl happened. I'll come out and say it. I was so wrong. I couldn't have been more wrong. I said it was going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
I talked myself into a blowout.
You did.
For the 49ers, and that's quite literally the opposite.
The opposite occurred.
I told you, I don't know, less than 60 seconds ago, I want to do an oath.
Yes.
So let's just raise our right hand. We'll just do it in solidarity with me. Don't worry. And just repeat after me. I solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear.
To never bet on Patrick Mahomes as a playoff underdog.
To never... Wait.
What?
No.
There's a caveat. Don't worry.
Okay.
We'll
I was like, isn't it supposed to be the... Okay. Yeah. To never bet on Patrick
never
Mahomes.
bet against...
Okay, because that's what you said, was never bet.
Yeah. No, I see where... I see where my English skills went wrong. You know what? Maybe this oath is a bad idea. But never betting on Patrick Mahomes...
Never betting against.
Never betting against Patrick Mahomes as an underdog ever again unless he's playing my team in the playoffs. I'm making that pact. I'm making that blood oath. I'm saying it out to the universe.
Okay.
I say, unless there is a drastic change, it should just be smart of us to be like, hey, we're gonna take the side.
Yeah.
Betting against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs now is kind of like we walk up to a roulette table and you walk up there and the guy's like, dude, it's hit red 47 times. And you're like, well, I gotta go black. Why? It just hit red 47 times.
Because it's due.
Right.
Because it's due.
That's what I'm saying. But like when it hits red another 7 times, you're just sitting there and you're like, well, I'm that stupid. Because that's how I feel.
But when it goes opposite,
dude,
you feel like a genius.
Fireworks.
Exactly. I'll chase that feeling.
Give me a fact. Give me the fact
of the day. So because we have the NBA All-Star break coming up, so I decided to do 2 quick ones that are more concerning to the NBA. Mm-hmm. Did you know the Heat are the only team that can boast winning the dunk contest and 3-point contest in the same year?
Wait, really?
Yep, the only team to do it. You have 1995 Harold Miner won his second dunk contest.
Shout out to the Miners.
Nickname Little Jordan.
Little Jordan.
Yeah.
Don't know him, but
and then his Glenn Rice took home the 3-point contest.
That's fire.
Only team in 95 to do it, and then small fact. While I was researching facts, I'm looking more
That's fine.
into
I love facts.
I found what quite possibly I want my next jersey to be, and maybe one of my favorite team names of all time.
I'm here for the wild jerseys.
1946 is when the NBA started.
Okay.
There was a team that was in the first 3 years of the NBA before it closed down in Rhode Island.
Oh, that's not even like a real place. I recognize Puerto Rico as more as a state than Rhode Island.
Considering size,
yeah.
But it was the Providence Steamrollers.
Oh.
And how hard would that jersey be?
We got to get some Providence Steamroller merch.
Right?
Let's be the biggest Providence Steamroller fans.
The league's great today, but it wasn't the Providence Steamroller.
It wasn't. You should have been there when the Providence Steamrollers were playing, man.
Just be that level of hipster about it.
Oh, dude, we'd be awful.
We'd be terrible people. Did not have a winning record after 3 years. Only won 50 games in 3 seasons.
They played on Rhode Island. I don't think anything great has come out of Rhode Island ever. I don't know anything that's ever happened in Rhode Island besides Family Guy jokes. That's the only thing I know it for. That's it.
Okay.
Don, I have a question of the day, which is also kind of All-Star related.
Sure.
With the All-Star games coming up, 3-point contest, dunk contest, is it better to be a champion at the dunk contest or an in-season champion, tournament champion? What would you, at the end of the year, let's just say you don't make playoffs.
Okay.
In both scenarios.
Sure.
You got to host up the in-season trophy, or is it better to be like, I smashed it in the dunk contest? Individually,
I'd rather the dunk contest.
I agree. I feel like it holds way more prestige.
But at the same time, if your team's going to make a playoff run, I would rather win the in-season because you could say we were great here and we were great at the end.
Yeah.
Like it's a better team, like a built team who's going to make a run.
I'm talking about you, though.
But me as an individual, if I know, hey, I'm just making the best out of a bad situation right now, like I would take the
What if I
individual.
say in both scenarios your team gets into the wild card play-in tournament to get into the playoffs?
I'd dunk contest.
I'd
rather the dunk contest.
And I want to be like the first person like shoot the 3-point dunk, and as it swooshes, I pick it up and I tomahawk it.
That'd be pretty cool.
I know that people are like dunks are all gone. They're not. We just got to evolve. We just got to think outside of the box. I also think the dunk contest should no longer be NBA players. We got to get the best dunkers in the world.
Yes.
We got to show them out, because the best part of the dunk contest isn't even the dunks. It's all the famous people's reaction to the dunks.
Yeah,
It's so much fun.
It is exciting,
Yeah.
but I think allowing more creative, like you said, don't just hold it to NBA players specifically. It's the All-Star game.
Well, they're
but
not this year. Max McClung's going to win it again.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But if you bring in some NCAA guys, some high school guys, like street
ball
ballers,
guys,
the
street ball
3-on-3 league, like some guy who have nothing to lose for just going for the most wild things they can, like that would be amazing.
I know we're getting like Jaylen Brown to participate this year, which is like, all right, Jaylen Brown's going to do a 3-point contest. Or the dunk contest. Let's see how this goes. Yeah.
I think a lot of All-Stars have moved away from it a little while. Like more and more, it's more of the young guys thing because they're worried about injury. And like they're just not in to take it seriously. Yeah.
It happens. Let's move on to our Super Bowl recap. We're going to talk about some storylines.
Sure.
Everything that happened from the beginning to the end to the commercials, every little bit, because it's the last bit of football we're going to get for a few weeks. So we got to squeeze it.
Until the USFL.
Well, I was going earlier than that. I was thinking the draft or combine.
Combine. It's already combine.
It's combine season.
Yeah.
We got like 3 weeks and then I'm back in football mode.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. I'm actually already watching tape. I never leave football mode.
Okay.
So,
yes.
NFL Super Bowl. Before the Super Bowl, we were excited.
Yeah.
I was watching J.J. Watt show out his new hairstyle. I don't know if you saw that. He went full boy band, went spikes and everything. It was a terrible look for him.
No, it reminds me of his early career.
He actually tweeted out, he's like, if you're thinking, hey, no one's going to notice your new hairstyle, I promise you everyone noticed it, and yes, they did not like it, which is very self-aware by JJ. Good job by you, buddy.
Nah, he's a funny guy. Like, I really enjoy JJ.
I guess we should start with the topic everyone's talking about in the Super Bowl. Do you understand the overtime rules?
Okay, so that was the thing, because even the 49ers after the game were like, none of us understood it.
Not even the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown didn't know the overtime rules.
No, because they didn't really make an announcement that they were going to change it.
Yeah, crazy.
Like, they just, like, that was the first, like, I follow, like, most NFL pages. Yeah. I try to read their, when they put out their reports every time, any rule changes. Somehow the fact that they changed the playoff, or the Super Bowl specifically, overtime, that completely went under the radar for me, and that was the first, like, live is when I was like, oh, this is completely different.
I was watching with my brother, and my brother's like, what happens if it's 0? Does that mean the Chiefs lose? I was like, no, technically there is no time. That's just for the play clock.
But they had a quarter clock, like the game clock running.
It's a new game. If they hit 0, it didn't matter. The Chiefs would still get the ball.
Oh, I hate that.
It would just reset, and then the Chiefs would just get the ball on the opposite side of the field.
Well, no, but what if the Chiefs got the ball? We're marching it because they only had a few seconds left when they scored. It was under a minute, and they just ran out the clock.
No matter what, the Chiefs get final play. Like, no matter what, their drive will end.
Okay,
no matter what.
But the drive ends at the clock, or is it?
No,
see, the fact
clock
that
means nothing.
See, the fact that we're having to do this right now as guys who follow NFL very seriously.
I mean, 2 episodes ago, we were arguing about every litigious little rule. We know the rules.
Yeah, and the fact that
it's been 4 days. We still don't know the rules.
I hate that. Because it seemed like the only people that really knew it was Mahomes. Because if you watch him after the coin toss,
NFL rigged.
I mean,
no.
I don't know about that, but it wouldn't have surprised me if a referee walked over to the Chiefs sideline and gave a very long and detailed explanation right before the coin toss.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes, right away, they were like, we've known about these rules the entire season. Travis Kelce was like, how'd you guys not know about this stuff? Kyle Shanahan said he knew it. They said they had prepared for this rule. It's just like coming down to coaching, and it's that Bill Belichick thing of you have to know every little intricate detail of the rule book so that way you can exploit it. And there's, that's what great coaches do. They cheat a little bit. They exploit.
No, they invent new ways
of winning. Yeah.
And I 100% credit coaches for that. My mindset is, why is this just a playoff rule? Get rid of ties in the NFL overall.
There was no ties this year for the first time since 2009.
No ties, which was great. I enjoyed that more. But also get rid of. I'm really not a fan of current. No. Ties
ties are fun. Ties are fun because then you're like, we just wasted 4 hours.
Yeah, at the end of it,
it's awesome.
I love the NHL style where a tie still means something.
Yeah, you explained that to me a few weeks ago, and I still don't get it.
To the point metrics, I enjoy it that way. But for the NFL purposes, I hate the overtime rules because they make no sense to actual competition.
No sense.
At all. So if this is going to be this Super Bowl, this overtime rule change is going to be for Super Bowl or for playoffs, which I'm assuming it might be for playoffs.
I think they're going to, it's for playoffs.
Make it for the regular season too. You get more screen time. Fans would enjoy it more.
I think the thing is they don't want the players playing in regular season games. The NFL is doing their best to tell you regular season games mean a lot and mean nothing at the same time. And fans are starting to kind of sniff that out. Yeah,
because they extended the regular season saying we're going to add more games to give more impact. We're not going to do the exact 500 teams. That way it's a little bit easier for the tiebreakers. But then you're allowing the most BS kind of end of game scenarios to still exist.
And you open the playoff window to allow those teams that weren't that good get in. Now, granted, there are some teams that got in, like this year, the Texans, and there were the Steelers that got in who definitely deserved to get in.
Green Bay did well.
Green Bay did fantastic. Yeah. They won a playoff game. They almost won 2 playoff games. I want to go back a little bit.
Sure.
Do you know who sang the national anthem? I've never seen that woman before in my life.
Reba?
I've seen
Reba McEntire. Yeah.
I saw her the day before because our roommate started playing her TV show. Completely blocked. I have no recollection or memory or any evidence of who this woman was before she showed up in my life.
80s, 90s singer. She's now a judge, I want to say, on The Voice with Chance the Rapper.
Dude, what did you... That's a sentence that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, she's a judge on The Voice right now. No, that's not... But she was a really, very popular singer back in the day.
How do you think she did?
Good. I enjoyed it. I liked it, and she hit the over.
I hate her. I took the under.
Oh, that's why.
But
okay.
I hate her because she said, home of the brave, right? That's how you... And home of the brave. She said brave twice. You can't double brave. No one's ever double braved. If she says brave once, under hits. She double braved. They counted the over. That's a NFL rigged is right there. It was right there. That's crazy.
I'm curious on what percentage of the bets were on the over or under.
Under was getting hammered.
Okay, but I don't think it was. To me, it was she was trying to hold brave, couldn't hold the note, but the rest of the band was going to keep going, so she just tried to fix it real quick on live TV.
First half of the game, I mean, we could be honest.
It felt like the 49ers were handling.
But kind of boring?
A little dull, but it wasn't it was what I expected. It was going to be a ground and pound game by both teams.
Yeah. CMC smashing his catches almost in the first half.
Yeah.
Was insane. I bet the under, and I was like, I'm an idiot. You bet the over, right?
I didn't bet his receptions. I bet first carry.
My brother bet the over on that. And then you bet Christian McCaffrey touchdown.
I did get him for a touchdown, which I saw some books were having an issue publishing.
Because he caught it and then ran it in?
Yeah. Then they were saying, there's some who were like, well, it's a receiving touchdown. That doesn't count. It's like, people bet him on just a touchdown.
Correct.
In general.
And first touchdown. My brother bet him first touchdown.
So, yeah, but there was that controversy a little bit there. But honestly, it felt like the 49ers had the game plan going what they wanted.
Yeah.
And it felt like they executed really well. Then Greenlaw went down with injury. And that felt like it 180'd everything.
Was that the worst injury in sports history?
Not the worst. There's been a lot of bad ones. At least it happened during a game.
But he's an all-pro linebacker. The entire world, more people than ever watching the Super Bowl since the moon landing. He goes down with a torn Achilles or ruptured Achilles or whatever happened.
Yeah.
Because he was hyping himself up on the sideline to get onto the field. That game might be completely different if he's playing that on the field.
Oh, completely agree.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was tragic to see that. Kittle
He's okay.
missing time, Debo having to come out of the game constantly.
Yeah, Debo is like got 15 targets or something crazy.
But they weren't good targets in my mind.
So let's talk about Brock Purdy.
Okay.
On a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being awful, where would you give Brock Purdy performance score? Let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3,
6.
3. How'd you give me? You give him a 6 on a 1 to 5?
No, you said 1 to 10.
I said 1 to 5.
Oh, 1 to 5, 3. Yeah, 3 is fine.
I said 3.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, 3. Yeah.
He and that's what Brock
He
Purdy
did
is.
fine, but no,
he's
it's-
consistent 3.
If you look at how he targeted almost every other receiver,
Yeah.
he was throwing very good passes. Ayuk was getting open, and he was hitting some tough passes. Ayuk, he was getting good stuff to Kittle when it was designed for him.
There was some
CMC.
Well,
for Jawan Jennings was getting some really good looks towards the end of the game. He took over.
Can I talk about third and Jawan? He's gonna be a free agent this year. He's going to get paid enough money. I think he is a legit number 2 in this league.
Yes.
I think he has the ability to show. I think he's a really good receiver. He's just in a room full of absolute dogs.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree there.
I think a team like New York. I think him in Baltimore.
He would be incredible for us.
I think he immediately shows that all these people that who's number 7 on Baltimore, the guy that Bateman,
Rashad.
He's just not the guy. I think he immediately walks in and you're like, oh, Zay, Bateman, maybe OBJ again, or get someone else.
Yeah.
That's an insane wide receiving core. I think he'd be great.
That'd be wonderful if the Bengals don't franchise tag T. Higgins like the rumored to do. He'd fill in pretty well there too. But
Jawan Jennings was a few plays away from being a Super Bowl MVP.
yes,
that would keep me up at night.
that would bother me a lot. But to me, the biggest issue with the offense for the 49ers was they were trying to force feed Debo the ball
100%.
by the end of it, but they weren't getting him in his normal close crossing routes, like wide receiver screens.
Yeah.
They were just trying to put him over the middle when he was like, hey, he's getting doubled up. They know what's going to him.
They'd put him in man, and they're like sticking him like glue. Because in the second half, that defense, that D coordinator, who's now won 4 Super Bowls, 2 with the Giants, 2 with the Chiefs.
Yep, and they just got extended contract today.
That defense played some of the best defense I've seen in a high pressure situation.
Yes,
those corners are elite. Ladarius Sneed and McDuffie were playing at a level. McDuffie came in on a 3rd down blitz and blocked the ball straight out of Purdy's hands. That was an insane play. And I'm like,
great.
How do you dial up that play in that moment? That's just insane.
And I think, isn't Sneed a free agent this season?
Willie Sneed will be Ladarius Sneed will be a free agent.
He's going to get paid.
He's going to get paid. He's probably not coming back to Kansas City.
Most likely not.
Unless they tag him, but tag I think is like $22 million for a corner right now, and that's a lot of money.
And you're going to piss him off because he knows he could go get money right now.
He might make like 30. He's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
So I want to go to the game. I want to get down to a moment.
Sure.
Before overtime, there was a moment where it was 3rd down in the 2-minute warning in the 4th quarter.
Okay.
It was 3rd down and 4, and the Niners had the ability to either run or pass. They decided to pass, and McDuffie blocks the ball out of the air.
Yeah.
Before that play, I was screaming at the screen, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
Yeah, get it in CMC's hands.
At worst, they get it to 4th and 1 because they're ripping off 3.5 yards of carry.
Yep.
Gets it to the 1, then you run it again. 4th and 1, who cares?
That makes sense.
All right.
That's 100% what I would have done.
Correct. And you burn another Kansas City timeout.
Yes.
Which they used.
Yeah. You choke out the clock.
Those are moments where I'm like, I get it. You go for the automatic points. You don't play. You play for the win. Yada yada yada. Those are moments where I look back and I'm like, hey, Kyle, I don't know if you are meant to win Super Bowls.
I mean, there's so many coaches in this league that would have done the same thing as him because he was playing to ice the game.
Yeah.
And if that pass, which the receiver was open, if he was able to get the pass past McDuffie, and I think it was to Kittle on the edge, right?
It was to Kittle on the edge.
If that's a catch,
it's game.
It's game. Instead of having to hopefully get 3rd and 4 on a ground game where they're most likely assuming you're going to run in his mind.
But at least you kill a timeout and then you still end up getting the same amount of points you already were.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't dislike the call for being aggressive. I will never fault a coach for taking an aggressive stance to win a big game.
I agree with you on that. you got to make the move. And I guess Kyle Shanahan's like first Super Bowl where they lost with the Falcons, his whole thing was they stopped being aggressive with the Falcons, and that's how the Patriots were able to come back.
And he's learned from it. In my mind, he has learned from it very well.
How much blame do you put on Kyle Shanahan, Steve Wilkes, who got fired today, this team, and their responsibility for this game?
I don't really put it on Steve Wilkes. That defense played out of their mind, shut down for most of the game until Greenlaw went down with injury.
Until Patrick Mahomes started ripping.
I mean, there was in my mind, some pretty blatant holding for the Chiefs. But that's normal. That's normal. It's not going to get picked up every single time.
I'll be honest. So the Chiefs, everyone's seen the stat. They were the most flagged team for holds.
Yes,
this
and then
year.
not a single one during the game.
Correct. They didn't call that much on the Niners either.
No, they didn't call much.
They didn't call anything.
Didn't throw a whole lot of flags overall.
To me, I'm very much with you. If you're gonna ref a game,
that was a pretty.
You're gonna ref it across the board. I didn't feel like refs. Now there was 2 calls. Then I'm like, the Chiefs got away with one. There was one, though, that the 49ers got away with on the... First off, the first Niner touchdown shouldn't have counted. It was a legal man down the field. The announcer came out and he was like, that's illegal man down the field. That pass shouldn't have counted, that touchdown.
Yeah, the screen.
Shouldn't have counted. Whatever. They got away with that, so that's where I'm kind of like, it balances out.
Yeah.
You don't put the blame on... Who do you put the blame on, then, for this loss?
In my mind... It was the offensive line just kind of fell apart towards the end. Because
what
if you
do against Chris Jones,
no, it wasn't just Chris Jones. It was it wasn't just Karlaftis and Chris Jones.
Yeah,
it was missed blocking assignments. If you hit your guy and he gets by you, that still buys more time than letting 2 free rushers go on critical downs.
They were just they were dialing up the best blitz schemes. They knew exactly how their pass blocking was going.
Exactly. Like there was a few plays where you see the guard flare out completely, and it's like 2 guys get on the inside of him, and he's trying to chase a third on the outside. It's like, where's the help? Like, what is the design here? It's like you're supposed to block the inside man and let him run around you.
It's almost like a coaching.
But that's not.
It's also on Brock Purdy for not being able to pick up and see those blitzes and change the blitzing.
This is his second, third year.
I get it, and he's
gonna learn. He's gonna develop more, and that's why I'm saying it's not on Steve Wilkes in this case.
No, I know,
because that's on the O line. That's not on Shanahan. That's on coordinator scheming, and that's on offensive line coach.
I want to blame Kyle Shanahan for the Super Bowl loss, but I look back and I'm like, well, let's look back at his Super Bowl losses. Oh, he lost to Tom Brady. I mean, that's Tom Brady.
Yep,
it's probably the best quarterback of all time.
In my mind, yeah. 100%
Who are the other 2 Super Bowl losses? Oh, Patrick Mahomes. The only guy that's rivaling Tom Brady for the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
Some people are already saying he's the greatest quarterback
and the
of all
fact that
time.
he was able to take both of them to the brink.
It's so crazy because every single game you can point to a play and say if this play goes opposite, the 49ers win the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons win the Super Bowl. Every single time.
And you can't fault a coach for being, because he's getting them there. Like his teams get there consistently.
If you are a fan of the 49ers, there has to be a point where you're like, I can't stand this man anymore, right?
No, for me, I would double down on it.
I agree with you, but like, if John Harbaugh got you to 3 Super Bowls and you lost 3 straight, you would start getting angry. You'd be like, all right, I want heads.
I wouldn't want his head though. If he's getting me to 3
yeah,
and it comes down to coin toss on a 1 play,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, next time he'll get us there. If he gets us there again,
you're a rational boy.
I am. Like, if he gets me there again, what are the odds that it's going to happen a 4th time? And I know Bills fans, I know Vikings fans, I understand, but that I'd rather go to 4 and say you got there.
I think the football gods are like really funny. And they just really don't want to see the Shanahans have a dynasty of coaching,
which hurts me. It's like they're so good as coaches. I love them.
I want to talk about the halftime performance. Usher killed it.
That was a fun one.
We are never gonna get a halftime that cool ever again. I think a lot of Middle America is gonna be like, all right, we need some guitars. Like I think next year they're gonna pivot strong the other way.
I don't think so, considering that's not what
the market is.
Anymore. Like rap and pop music makes up over 60% of the market.
Country music now.
Yeah, country music. But look at the country artists.
Yeah, I think
you're not selling Jelly Roll to.
Well,
No, he does well. Like, I'm not going to, but he's not going to sell out the Super Bowl.
Here's where I think they're going to find the perfect line. I think they're going to make this. Let's do some Super Bowl halftime predictions for next year.
All right.
My prediction for next year, and I think they already teased it, is Post Malone. He's moved into a country sound.
Yeah,
where now he has like Middle America's view. He really does make like country-esque albums now with rap tendencies. He has the ability to get the young audiences and the Middle America audiences to be like, well, that's Post Malone. I'm going to listen to Rockstar. I'm going to listen to all the hip-hop hits, White Iverson, all that. And then you get the Middle America where he can definitely bring in like a Chris Stapleton and like a big country artist and be like, check this out. You know all those old songs that you guys like? Bang, I got them here too. And I play guitar and it's very fun. And I think it'll be a perfect middle ground, even though it should be Drake. It should be Drake every single year.
Not every single year, but like he should have had one by now.
You don't like Drake.
But he's also a massive megastar that sells out arenas consistently and is one of the most streamed artists of all time.
Look at you, man. What?
Just because I don't like an artist doesn't mean that I can't go. Like, if their music's not for me, that's fine. That doesn't mean I can't recognize, like, they're a big draw and they deserve to be there.
I'm not even like the biggest Drake fan. I like Drake. His halftime performance would be an all-time for every boy between like 23 and like 30. They would just be like, this is the greatest day of my life.
We did it. We won. Yeah. It would be fantastic.
So the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in overtime with one of the coolest plays. They call it corn dog.
Yeah.
Who caught the ball? Valdez-Scantling?
Yeah, MVS.
MVS catches the ball. He turns around. He says he blacks out.
Yeah, like in the moment.
He didn't know what happened. Patrick Mahomes runs up to him. He's like, we just won the Super Bowl. And he's like, that's when he realizes he won the Super Bowl. We're bearing a lead here.
Okay.
There is a certain person that is responsible for the Super Bowl win. Her name is Taylor Swift. This team doesn't do this without her. And you can't even begin to say
she became a rally point. She did become a moral rally point for the
She
team.
is the mascot at this point. She is the voice. I wouldn't be surprised if she's the owner of the franchise right now. Like that's
I don't know if she could buy it out from the Hunts.
It's Kansas City. I'm pretty sure she can buy that whole thing and just turn it into a ping pong table. That's a social network reference. I loved every minute of Taylor Swift on camera. Every time I saw her, I was like, this girl's chugging. This girl's dancing.
Oh, she's a fan.
Screaming.
You could tell, like, Matt, I have no hate for her being on, like, being a fan. She's awesome. Brought in a whole new audience.
The biggest audience ever.
Biggest audience ever for the league, which more eyes to the product elevates the product. So I'm 100% loving that aspect.
Yep.
And you could tell, like, she truly enjoys the sport.
Yeah.
Like, there's like she was interacting with the fans, like the whole like the beer chug when you get on camera is, I think, traditional for most live games at this point.
It's awesome.
Like, it was great to see. I'd
vomit if I had to do the beer chug.
I'd
get halfway through and then I'd vomit into the cup.
Yeah, you gotta just
you
gotta buckle up sometimes on those.
Yeah.
But no, I think she was only 53 or 54 seconds of total airtime on the TV.
That's like 17 plays of football.
Feels like it a little bit. But no, so I have no hate for that. Like, it was great to see that she was having a good time.
Did you see the amazing stat that came out against the Chiefs? This is technically the hardest road to win a Super Bowl ever, with the worst receiving core I've ever seen a quarterback have win a Super Bowl. Like, him playing the Dolphins, him going to Buffalo, him beating the number 1 seed Ravens, and then him beating the 49ers. I think it's called OPA or OBA. Expected win, or OWA. Expected win, something like that.
Yeah.
They had the hardest map in Super Bowl history. That's insane.
But that's... I hate that this is my go-to because most people are like think that, this is like a dumb take. Defenses win championships, man. And like, that defense is there. Like, that's what carried them through in every single one of those games.
I think, and everyone's made this statement, Patrick Mahomes is just like Tom Brady, where they're going to get you exactly what you need.
Yeah.
If you need 7, they're going to give you 7. It's not that classic line of like, coach, give me the ball. You need 3 yards, I'm going to give you 3 yards. You need 6 yards, I'm going to give you 3 yards. Like, he's the exact opposite. He's going to get you exactly where you need.
Yeah, he does well. He he is a great quarterback. There's no arguing that.
Him winning the Super Bowl in the Raider Stadium is one of the funniest things. Like, so my coworker ended up going to work the next day. He's a diehard Raider fan.
Yeah.
Wearing Raider gear, and he cried in the break room. Like he broke down. He was like, "I can't believe this is happening."
No, that is heartbreaking because now they've have the Chiefs flag buried underneath the stadium
forever,
and they now own that stadium.
They own that stadium.
They own the stadium.
Do you know Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have more wins with any coach player combo than any Raider combo in that stadium?
Oh, I believe it.
It's awesome.
I mean, because it's a new stadium though. That doesn't
matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
No, I think
5 wins.
That's up there with the Eli Manning one, where Eli versus Dallas,
where
he signed the wall.
Yeah, he owns the stadium. He owns the AT&T Stadium.
They own the
beat them
stadium
for the first time. The first game that stadium ever opened. I have one more thing to talk about. What was I going to say? Oh, the partying. Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, all the videos that came out. I don't think that there's a better feeling than being somewhere and having a victory. Like if your friend won a boxing match, or if your friend won an intramural basketball tournament, the beers after feel like you won a war. They feel insane.
Because it's all the pent up emotion, aggression, everything throughout the entire season.
It's love.
It's just that all comes pouring out.
It's awesome. You got anything else for Super Bowl?
No, I mean, it was a good game. It was an overall good game. Not happy with the result, but
top 5 Super Bowl of all time for you?
I think so. I mean, that was I could not take my eyes off the game. That was so much fun.
It was one of the best games ever. One of the best games I've ever watched. You literally couldn't ask for something better.
No, that was every piece of drama and storytelling that I needed.
Under hit by half a point. That's awesome.
That is so tight of a line right there.
Let's get into Bust of the Week.
All right.
Ironically, mine's going to be also Super Bowl. My Bust of the Week is Ray McLeod.
Yep.
For the busted punt. I know it's not 100% his fault. He's trying to get people out of the way, but he did try to go for the ball.
Well, that wasn't on him. It hit the gunner's foot.
Correct.
And then he tried to save it.
And then he couldn't get it on the first pickup. And then that play right there single-handedly was like, oh, momentum, done.
Yeah, that was the complete momentum shift. I don't know. It's hard to put it fully on him.
I have to put it on him. It was either him or Jake Moody, because I knew Jake Moody was going to do something.
But again, getting your kick blocked isn't always on the kicker.
I get you. But
it's hard to.
One of them was going to get. I'm not getting rid of Steve Wilkes. I'm not kicking a man while he's down.
No, and it's just to me, it's like it's hard to put it on any of their shoulders.
I mean,
because it was just bad luck after bad luck. Like, how many times do they have those plays in a season, and that's never an issue?
Yeah, that's just when it happens.
Yeah, that's when it happens the most.
Bust of the week.
Isaiah Stewart. It has to be Isaiah Stewart.
Let's
get
into this. For the people that don't know, Don, break it down.
Well, basically, there was an altercation between the Pistons and the Suns 2 days ago, earlier this week.
Yeah.
Where what exactly happened has not come out officially yet, but it was before the game. Isaiah Stewart and... Give me 2 seconds to remember a guy's name.
It was Drew Eubanks.
Yeah. They were apparently seen in the back of the tunnel by the locker rooms getting into it, going chest to chest, and Stewart just punches Eubanks right in the face. Stewart he's still out on injury right now for the Pistons, so wasn't going to take the floor, is then arrested on assault charges. I saw. He was arrested, processed, later released. But he is facing assault charges now. Eubanks was declared to have a minor injury minor facial injury, but then came out and was able to play during the game itself. Has not talked about what led up to it.
Okay. No one really knows why they had the altercation. Can I say something?
Sure.
I think if you are about to play a game of sports, especially professionally, and you get in a fight on or off the court, and you're wearing those uniforms, shouldn't be allowed to get arrested.
They weren't. I don't think they were in uniform yet.
I know, but
because if it happens on the floor and you scrap a little bit, on the court, on the floor,
it's an NBA. I think it's all an NBA issue.
It's an NBA issue.
NBA issue. I don't think unless he physically was beating him to a point where he was like unconscious or something like that,
then
maybe like, all right, well, he's got to get sued.
I think
can't just do that.
I think the issue was, and where the league is going after it, is Stewart is out on injury right now.
Yeah.
He is not playing. He is not an active player.
Well, that's another issue with the Pistons.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Active tanking, which is something the NBA is currently targeting.
Yeah, they're going after.
They're going after anyone that they smell tanks on.
So I think this is going to get Stewart a huge punishment by the league.
Probably.
Because he's not projected to be back for another 5 days, realistically, because of the injury. And this on top of it, I think that's where they're like, yeah, go after the guy. Like, let it happen, because he shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place.
We're going to talk about the Pistons in a little bit. That whole franchise is
rough spot.
Yeah. Let's move into the gold star of the week. My gold star, already talked about it. It's the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, Taylor Swift. This championship ring is going to look amazing next to your engagement ring. This is a beautiful time for you. You earned this. Not a lot of people have won Grammys and Super Bowls. You are one of the few.
Especially in the same year.
Especially in the same week.
Yeah, that's wild.
And the fact that you were able to do those amazing shows in Japan and still be able to come and play in the game was, I mean, a performance that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most impressive things ever. Taylor, we love you. Thank you for winning a Super Bowl for Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes really appreciates it.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
For me, it has to be MVS. Shout out. You got to give that man his flowers for being
she
there.
signed his check. It's a fact. Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how he is rarely seen most of the time in the league, like during the season, but just finds a way to make these critical plays and be the guy to step up. Like, he's done it on Green Bay.
It's him and McCole Hardman, where you're just like, everyone can't play with these guys, and then Patrick Mahomes is like, check this out.
He gets it to work. No, because Rodgers, when MVS was in Green Bay,
he'd have moments.
He had his moments, but it was always in critical big moments.
Yeah.
And regular, like, just average play for a play that could be meaningless to the game, can't catch a ball. You put him in a 4th and 1 or a goal line run for a game winner,
or a third down against the Ravens in an AFC Championship game,
and he's the most clutch guy in the world.
Never drops the ball.
I don't get how, but it's incredible to watch him.
Gene, Don,
it really
we were
is.
not born with it.
No, I mean, not like that. Not like this man is.
All right, we're gonna go into the NBA mid-season rebound before the All-Star game. Before all that stuff, we're gonna do an All-Star breakdown next week.
Okay.
We're going to talk about our thoughts on the 10 teams.
Sure.
We're going to keep them tight.
Yeah.
Talk about them quick, minute a team. We're going to start with the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics, to me, they're a very good team. I didn't expect them to be this good.
I don't think many teams have. I think the addition of Porzingis has made such a huge difference for the roster.
I made TikToks about Porzingis going to the Celtics, laughing in their faces, being like, he's going to be cool for like the 30 games that he plays. This man's been healthy. He's been efficient. He's been playing his balls off. This Boston Celtics team is like, there's been times where I'm like, oh man, I really don't want them to win a championship because we're tied. Lakers and
Boston is right there, but
if they get one on us, I don't want to hear the Celtics fans. This is the first time in a long time where I'm like, oh no,
they have a really good shot at it. Porzingis, he's on a multi-game run of 25 plus points.
Yeah,
just out of their mind. But to me, Celtics teams under 500, one loss the entire season.
Yeah, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat.
They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. Teams over 500, 22-11.
Yeah, I mean that's a good record still. Like,
but I'm saying they've doubled the amount of wins for teams that are over 500.
Yeah.
The teams that they're supposed to go compete with later in the league.
They're smashing them.
They're smashing everybody.
And it shows. What I think they're the number one seed in the East.
Yes, they are.
It's kind of hard not to see them in a world where they don't end up in the Eastern Conference Championship at the minimum.
They have, like, after this kind of season they're having right now, they have to make it.
Yeah.
It's Eastern Conference Championship or bust.
I'm actually scared of the Boston Celtics.
I understand why.
Oklahoma City Thunder. This is, when I watched the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm like, this is everything I wanted. I've been an SJ fan for a while. I like Chet Holmgren. While everyone was poo-pooing him, I was like, this can be a guy.
Yes.
This is a good team. they are suffering from the classic young NBA team that is playing fantastic regular season that the Beam team, the Sacramento Kings, had last year.
Yeah.
I don't care who they play in the first round. If they end up having to play the Lakers in the first round, I'm so sorry to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They don't have the experience.
They don't.
They don't have the coaching ability. They're going to get into the playoffs, and they're going to get one win maybe.
What worries me about this team is the split of how much SGA puts on his back. Games of 30. So he has the most 30-point games this season.
He's baller.
He's baller. When he puts up over 30, 28-10 record for the team.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, it turns out when you score a ton of points, your team usually wins.
When he doesn't put up 30 or more, though, that's the line. When he
30.
does not put up 30 or more, they're 8-7.
Oh, so they have to
have
SJH
go over
SJH.
30 every game to keep the team afloat, to continuously have a strong winning record. That's what worries me come playoffs. Is
Defense gets crazy in the playoffs.
Defense gets played, like that's when guys actually start playing defense seriously, and you have an entire season of having to put up over 30-point games.
Yeah.
It's going to burn you out. I don't know how much tread he's going to have come playoffs.
These Oklahoma guys haven't felt the bright lights of the playoffs yet.
They have not.
They got to play in a little bit last year, but
it's very different.
It's a different beast, especially when you're playing a team full of veterans like Warriors that you might have to face that know how to play in this playoff and know how to grind it out.
Not just that, but you're talking about bubble teams. Like the Mavs have gone all in at this point.
We're going to talk about the Mavs.
We're going to talk about them a little bit more, but
yeah.
if they get stuck in a play-in game with them,
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of scenarios where I'm like, I don't know if the Thunder want to be the first seed or the second seed.
I personally would not want to be.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would want to be fourth.
Yeah. I want to be like third or fourth.
Go be paired up with another young team that's fighting.
I want to be third because fourth, you're probably going to end up playing the Clippers. You want to be the third seed and then end up playing like, I don't know.
Or fall back a little bit and play the T-Wolves.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because that's another younger core team.
Don, you want to talk about the Boston Celtics?
We just did.
Oh, the Detroit Pistons. Sorry, Detroit Pistons.
Somehow not the clear-cut worst team in the league. One game behind the Wizards.
So I'm just going to conject both these teams together.
Okay.
The Wizards, the most fun bad team I've ever watched play.
They're just out there to have a good time.
They're not even out there to have a good time. They're out there to, like, it looks like they're. All right, this is the perfect comparison. Ready?
Sure.
Watching the Wizards play is like watching the movie Semi-Pro. But, like, if you didn't get any of the off-the-court action, just the on-the-court action before they're good. Like, just like the pure entertainment spectacle. There's fans just hurling hot dogs at each other. They have a guy who's just like, screw it, I'm going to shoot 24 shots tonight and hit 2 of them. Shout out to Jordan Poole. They are like the most fun bad team I've ever seen play a sport, and it's awesome. They might go up against Iowa for like the bust of the year next year. It's going to be awesome. Iowa football. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Meanwhile, Detroit is just sad.
Yeah.
Because what worries me about Detroit is, okay, they sold off 2 players coming into the trade deadline. They got rid of Bogdanovich. They got rid of Burks.
Oh, they just sold their whole team.
And they sold not the whole team. They wanted to keep their 4 core players. That was the big thing ownership was saying, is we see something in Cade, we see something in
Cade's amazing.
Cade is great. But they have their 4 guys.
And I think it's Sword Thompson, the other guard.
Yep.
Very good. Jalen Durden, the center, is going to be a very, very good center for the league.
He's going to be great. The 4th is Isaiah Stewart. And they've openly said right before the deadline, we are going to, because that was a big question, is are you going to trade off Stewart? Because he was one of the older of the 4 core guys, and you could go get something for him.
For sure.
And the team announced, we are sticking with him. Mm-hmm. We think we can build something around this team.
Yeah, they really do believe that.
And then you are having him face his 2nd long-term suspension.
Beautiful.
In 3 years.
Yeah,
that worries me about what did this team see, because he already has gotten into on-court issues with LeBron in 2021. That's where he was the first time suspended, and now he's getting into off-the-court issues and probably going to get a big suspension for that. Is this a guy you want to build around? And
No.
you guys have doubled down this season saying yes.
I don't think they're building around him. I think it's Cade's team and Durden's team going forward.
It is, but the fact that you could have gotten something for him this season,
100%.
and you
And now
said,
trade
no,
value's
we want to build.
Cooked.
It's
And
gone.
let's be honest, if they trade him, he probably doesn't get in a fight with Drew Eubanks.
Probably does not.
But he's probably balling on another team. Probably
But you could go
balling on
get
another
a couple picks. You could
what
go
I'm saying.
get a couple young guys
Um,
to build for.
I don't want to talk about the next team, but we kind of have to. The Dallas Mavericks.
Yep.
For those who don't know, I hate Luka Doncic. It's a long line. He's probably number 2 on my hate list. I don't like him. I don't like the style of basketball in which he plays. I think he's one of the most overrated athletes I've ever seen in my life. And
It's working for him.
And they might be, and he might win MVP, and he might win a playoff series, and they might actually be good.
Yeah. I mean, Gifford coming back. He's been the man since they went and got him, averaging 17.5 points, 13 boards, and 3 blocks over the first 2 games he's had with the team.
Are you going to talk about the elephant in the room? The Washington element?
Oh, I was going to talk about Kluber.
I was going to talk about Washington, the guy that you said was a
PJ?
bust. Yeah, Pete.
No,
I didn't. He's been balling.
I never said he was a bust. I was saying I don't know how he fits into this rotation.
Apparently, the rotation is just go out there and get buckets because that's what he's been doing.
And they're playing his style of offense, and that's one of the great things I think about Kluber coming back from his pinky toe dislocation.
Yeah.
4 times at practice. 4 different practice. He's dislocated that same toe.
Can I make an assumption here?
Sure.
I don't think he's getting that pinky toe injured in practice. I think this is an off the court issue.
It might be.
Yeah.
If 4 dislocations.
I think he's doing something in his own personal hours that he shouldn't be doing with that pinky toe of his.
And I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
don't-
We're not going to
yeah.
speculate that far. But
I
with
will.
them coming in, with Kluber coming in, they're playing a 5-out offense, and you have a team of shooters that works incredibly. Because you can all distribute. You don't need to clog the paint. It's just nothing but making cuts, and it works really well.
Here's the only thing I'm at now because I know that they're the 7th seed in the West.
Yes.
Here's where I'm at. The only thing I'm holding on hope for is the West is really tough, and Luka's still not going to play defense. Like that's just
Luka won't. Yeah, he won't.
those
And
are 2 constants. That
Kyrie at his age worries me a little bit.
when Kyrie's healthy, he is still a top 3-point guard in this league.
Yeah, I mean, I just mean defensively.
Yeah, that whole guard front defensively is kind of scary.
Yes.
I think I still don't think they're going to win a playoff game, but that's down the road. We'll see what happens down there.
If they get into a playoff series, they could probably get 1 or 2.
Do you think they're better than the Suns? Do you think they're better than the Nuggets?
No, neither of those.
But if they match up with the Thunder,
You got a good shot.
Dude,
You have a great shot there.
if they match up with the Timberwolves,
You have a decent. Well, no, T-Wolves have too many big men.
that's what I'm saying.
You
Like,
can't.
it's
you
a little
can't.
different, but you know,
You can't play that.
the Mavericks are a little quicker. Like they have bigger bodies. The big bodies don't move as fast as those guys do on the Mavericks.
That's very true.
That'd be a fun matchup.
I would be. I would love to see that.
The New York Knicks, buddy. The Showtime Knicks.
Not worried. They're on a 3-game skid, but you have their top 2 players currently battling back from injury at the moment. Bogdanovic, what they went and got, which I think is a great pickup for them. Good 3-and-D guy, can fill in for kind of almost any ball handling role overall. He's battling with injury as well at the moment.
I was going to say.
He's listed day to day.
So I wrote here, they're the most fun team to watch right now. One of the most fun teams for
Yes.
me. I love watching them play. Jalen Brunson is showing the entire world why he deserves more money. He's the
he
best
is
contract
electric.
in sports, period. The New York Knicks, and I wrote this, are playing with injuries turned on.
They really are. Yeah, they're playing
with-
franchise mode with injuries.
Like turned on to the max. They're
Yes.
like, check this out. And they're still winning games. Like they're the fifth seed in the East.
They're floating around 4 and 5 at the moment.
But like they're
And
4 right now. They're probably going to play the 76ers, who you probably want to play.
I think that would be a great matchup for them because at that point you have Anunoby back, you have Randall back, DiVincenzo should be healthy.
Yeah.
At that point, and you suddenly have one of a very scary starting 5 coming in.
I think
well rested.
I think this is I want a Philadelphia New York playoff game because that they're rivals. Those are 2 organizations that are going to Like they're so close
gonna
cities,
play-
they're
yeah,
going to
they're
get in each
smash
other's
mouth.
faces. It's going to be so much fun. And I want New York and Madison Square Garden to feel like basketball because as much as I love basketball in Los Angeles, it's amazing. Basketball means something different in New York. It's the Knicks are the only organization in all of New York that everyone comes together on.
Yeah.
They all hate each other about everything across the board. No one likes each other in New York unless it's for the Knicks. And
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And I think, honestly, if they can maintain playoff positioning, which they are at the moment, they are going to be a very scary team come playoff time, considering you have two of their top stars that is going to be rested.
What do you think is their ceiling?
I think they can make Eastern Conference.
I think so.
Championship.
Too. I think if the chips fall the right way, maybe the Bucks play the Celtics in the second round somehow.
It's going to be Celtics and Knicks will be a great Eastern Conference matchup.
LA Clippers, hometown team, kind of not our team, but
They are a hometown team, but they're just not our go-to team.
We talked about this team back in November
Yes.
as a sleeping giant for us.
They're in a weird spot.
They're awake. I think they're
Not
awake.
fully. I don't think they are.
I think they're getting there. I think Kawhi's awake.
Yeah, Kawhi is good. Paul George is.
Paul George is good.
He's
Paul
doing
George
okay.
is playing really well. He slowed down a little.
He's lost a step, but that's not bad.
James Harden playing pretty well.
Harden's playing well.
Zubac is back.
Zubac is.
I'm telling you, like
this team is getting gears turning.
NBA fans are now like seriously going like, oh no, the Clippers might be good, and like this is something me and you were kind of ahead on. Back in November, we were like, hey, if these guys don't get hurt, which is always the if for the Clippers.
Yeah, that's always a big if.
We're like, this team is starting to click. This team is going to get into a zone where playoff Kawhi, if he's playing at a certain level,
arguably the best player in the league.
Correct.
Yeah.
The best two-way player in the league.
Yes.
And that's what you don't want to see.
You don't. That's one thing I think the team is missing right now. If you look, they've had 5 losses since mid-January at this point. In the last 3 weeks, they've had 5 big losses to the T-Wolves, Pelicans, Cavs, and Lakers.
All good teams.
All teams that have big body centers and are lengthy. That's where they have struggled this entire season, and that's where the majority of their losses come is against those kinds of matchups. Where you are playing
small ball teams.
Yeah, small ball they dominate, but you're playing against big guys. They lack. Like Zubac is good. I like Zubac as a player. There's no depth around him covering the core, covering the paint. There's just no one else on that team that could really do it efficiently until Kawhi turns it on defensively.
Correct. And then you see Kawhi doing things. You're like, there's 3 guys on the court right now, and they're all named Kawhi Leonard. It's crazy.
But once they have to get there. One thing that does give me hope, Kawhi was quoted after their last game saying that he thinks the team is just winning on pure talent at the moment.
Not even,
and they are not even gelled. Like he said, like he was saying, it's like this team. Wait till this team gels.
So we're not even at our peak yet, buddy.
And it's like you guys are holding the 1 seed for a while.
I'm tired of glazing the Clippers. I got to get off of this. The Milwaukee Bucks added Pat Bev in the trade deadline.
Good little feisty defender, and that's
good
where
defender, good leadership.
Yeah.
Gonna probably not starting, but like he's gonna get a lot of minutes.
Yeah, get him a good role player, kind of off the bench, be the spark plug.
This team, a ton of experience.
Yes.
Has a ton of talent.
Yep.
Has one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Has a point guard playing at a high level in Dame Lillard. They seem to have every piece. They seem to have the experience.
Yeah.
Everything is ready for a home run, right?
It is in my mind.
Why do I have this feeling that something's about to happen? And then I take a step back and I'm like, oh yeah, Doc Rivers.
See, I'm enjoying the Doc Rivers experiment at the moment because the team is finally starting to win a couple games.
How many times have we seen the Doc Rivers experiment?
No, I mean, playoffs aside, he is one of the best regular season head coaches. He gets teams to perform at elite levels, and he gets teams to major games.
Until
playoffs is crapshoot, and that's where I think he just overcomplicates.
This Bucks team isn't in the conversation to try to win a regular season championship. This is a playoff.
Well, he got brought in halfway through the season too. That makes it infinitely harder. Is when you're having to change complete schemes. You're having to learn guys' names while you're playing games.
It's 12 people. He can learn, and really, like, there's 2 Antetokounmpos on the team. He'll be fine there. Like, it's
It is no, but it's tough when you have to come in mid-season as a head coach, learn personnel, change.
Are you a Doc
schemes.
Rivers fan?
I enjoy him as a coach.
He's won one championship.
That's okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
He gets touted as one of the best head coaches in like basketball lore, and he's done nothing. He's quite literally taken some of the best talent ever and underperformed constantly
In my mind, he is one of the most winningest head coaches
in regular season.
Yes, and he gets teams to the point where they can succeed.
What
Do they go over? Do they
the
hit
second round? He's never made it past the second round.
If you're consistently getting that deep in playoffs, you're doing well. You're doing something right in my mind.
Not for me. In
it's
basketball.
fine with me. He's turned this defense around. They are 7th ranked overall since he's taken over in 9 games.
Yeah, they're the 3rd seed right now. They're back 1 game against the Cavs.
They held the Hornets and the Nuggets to under 100 points this week alone.
Wow.
Like this team,
that's huge now.
And if you're able to start turning the defense on this early,
I mean, part of that's Pat Bev.
Part of that's Pat Bev, but part of that is also learning new rotations.
Yeah,
having to scheme differently. That's going to be and then they only are going to get better because they are having to learn his system now. They're going to get better.
Let's talk about the LA Lakers. This is our home team.
Yep.
Our favorite team in the league. My favorite team in all of sports. I love the Lakers. I'm tired. I've seen this team for 3 straight years. It's the same team with different guys on it. LeBron, AD, and the guys. That's what it is.
That's how he's always played.
You got the feisty white guy. He plays pretty well. You got a couple guards that sometimes show up, but most of the time don't. And then you got a bunch of other dudes. Just a bunch of other dudes. And you're just sitting there like, hey, I love you, LeBron. Let's do one last push. I'm ready for this to end. I love LeBron. He's my favorite basketball player of all time. I'm a diehard Laker fan. I'm ready to move on.
Do you think they should have dealt him at the trade deadline?
No, I don't. I think this is the last year, though. I think this year you push all your chips in the center, and we're like, all right, let's go. We're gonna do it for one last run. After this, let's blow it up like nuclear Bob. I don't care if we win a championship. Blow it up.
I don't think they will at all. The fact that they didn't make any moves, the fact at the deadline, they didn't signal that at all to me that they were trying to do that.
I think they're pushing. They signed Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, but that was to a very small contract, short term.
Yeah, but he's getting playing time. Like he's going.
Yeah, he's good because he's a good player.
He's. I mean, yeah.
To me, I lump the Lakers their current situation right now a lot with the Warriors. No, I lump them together. Very similar situations of you have elite talent on the roster that just something is not clicking every night. You're battling it in, but at the same time, come play-in game, which they're both fighting for, come low seed playoffs. Mm-hmm. Do you want to take Steph or LeBron in playoffs?
No.
Do you want to bet? Do you want to have to face either of those guys in a play-in game?
Here's another thing: the Lakers are only 3 games back from being the 6th seed.
Yeah.
So it's like it's also like how bad are the Lakers? They could easily just go into March and be like, all right, we're gonna win like 10 in a row.
Yeah, and that would be enough.
Yeah, and then they're like, all right, cool, we'll play the Timberwolves in the first round.
And that's what's scary to me with them. That's what's scary. Like I'm keep lumping the Warriors because it's just elite talent.
Well, let's just talk about the Warriors next. And then we'll finish it with the last team.
And to me, it's like I would not, if I were any other team in the league, I don't want to guard down LeBron. I don't want to guard down Steph in a do or die make playoffs game.
Well, here's the thing about the Warriors right now. 3 weeks ago, I would have been like, the Warriors are falling apart. It's time to blow up the franchise.
Yes.
Right now, where I'm standing, they're on a little bit of a tear. They're starting to heat up a little bit. They're starting to get that chemistry again. I know. They're starting to play around. Steve Kerr's like, all right, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to start coaching again.
Yeah.
Draymond's back in full Draymond form. Last night, 2 nights ago, he was in a zone where he was like going full psychopath, talking to himself on the sideline, like really getting in his own head. That's prime. That when he's doing stuff like that, I'm like, oh yeah, these Warriors are cooking.
that scares me honestly. For all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. But that's what the Warriors are. Like they're like the chemistry, the vibes, everything. As amazing as Steph Curry is, that whole organization runs off the tempo that Draymond Green starts drumming, and I love it. I love it.
You and I have very different views on that man.
You can't say he's not a Hall of Fame basketball player. You can't say he's not the heartbeat of that franchise.
I don't think he's the heartbeat of the franchise.
Every time he's around, they win. And when he's not around, they lose. And that's just a fact.
I want to see the game splits of him with or without the team.
I can just tell you right now, when he was out of the NBA Finals, the Cavaliers came back 3-1 and won the championship.
Yeah,
He
that's
was
just
out. He
one
was
series.
out.
I want to see his overall with the
And
team.
every series he was in, they won the Finals championship. Every time he was in the Finals with the team, they won a championship. These are just facts.
Yeah, but that feels very skewed.
That's what I do. They're called Dio stats. Are you new to the show?
No. No, he is like he worries me as a person. He is very violent.
Don, there's a bunch of stats and metrics you can tell me and rules and legal laws that might have been assault multiple times. That I'd agree with you. The problem is I've bought and like cemented myself to the Draymond Green camp so hard that there is no way out of this box that I've built for myself. I have to go down with the ship, and Draymond Green is my captain, captain.
Yeah, it feels like you've just doubled down more and more on this man.
I've quadrupled down at this point. I want him on the Lakers. If we're gonna,
please.
I want him to be my coach. Like I'm very excited for whatever next step Draymond Green goes into.
Oh God.
Do you have anything else on the Warriors?
No, I think they'll find a way. These kinds of teams always do.
I think this is the last year for the push with the initial core.
With the OG core, yeah.
Last team we're going to talk about is the Indiana Pacers. My favorite team of the year. I love this team. It's my second favorite team in basketball. I've loved the Indiana Pacers. I've made that very well known. They've slowed down a little.
They've lost a step here and there, but I mean, it's a young team. I put them similar situation as the Thunder, where
I agree.
Halliburton's playing out of his damn mind right now.
They got Pascal Siakam, though.
Siakam brings a lot of experience to the team, which is nice. Halliburton only 2 games out from hitting his franchise record that he's set for the team of most double-doubles in a single season. He's at 30, and he's hit 32.
When we did our first NBA review, I was talking about how I think Halliburton's knocking on the door of being a superstar. I think this is it. I think people know his name. I think he was on the Pat McAfee show, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. He is officially a star. I think this summer we're going to get the shoe. This summer we're going to get all the commercials. Probably. This is the year of the Halliburton, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah. To me, at this point, though, if they could just make a playoff series, they're playing with house money. This is a young core, geared up for next season, but if you could just make a playoff run, get the experience of being in the playoffs, I think next year you'll be deadly.
I wrote in my notes, if they win a playoff series, they should legally be allowed to hang a banner. Yeah. I was like, if they somehow beat like a New York Knicks, even though they probably match up just as well as the Knicks, but if they do like beat a team and win a series, and they have to go play the Bucks or play the Celtics, they have to hang a banner. It's an Indianapolis tradition. It really is.
That'd be interesting for sure.
Let's move on to our pick of the week. We've been giving you our 6 best picks of the year. We dwindled it down to 1 pick. We're going to give you 1 pick every week that we absolutely love. Maybe 1 or 2 if Don feels a little frisky. If me and Don feel a little rowdy about it. All right. But we're going to go into the pick of the week. My pick of the week is going to be the Flyers money line against the Devils. The Flyers have a positive winning record. They beat the Devils. They split right now. They have the exact same record. This is going to push them over the top. Sure. It's plus 128. I know that there's an injury for the Flyers for their center or for their guard. For
the wing, yeah.
For the wing, sorry. I love this. I love this line. Plus 128. Chase the positive units. Go take it now before the line gets taken.
Sure. For me, I'm betting Daytona 500 this weekend.
I love it.
Big, yeah. If you know me, I'm big.
Well, not this weekend.
Well,
this Monday.
We'll see with the weather dependent. Because there's a tropical storm that's going to hit Florida, so Beautiful. It's they haven't officially postponed yet, but rain and everything. We'll see how that goes. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm taking Ross Chastain, top 10 finish, and then I'm also putting a small little sprinkle in the unit for him to actually win the race overall. He's solid in recent years. He's had 5 starts on the Daytona 500. 3 out of the 5 has been a top 10 finish for him, so he knows how to get it done. He also ended up leading a few laps and winning a stage out of the 3 stages last year. Super speedways, he's won in Talladega in 2022. Multiple laps led across every other super speedway that they have, and he's 28-1 odds right now to go and win. He's
28-1.
28-1 odds for him to win the race overall.
But isn't like taking a shot like to win the race in Daytona like damn near impossible?
It's really tough. That's why I'm like the big units are like, to me, I'm putting down like honestly 2.5 units on him to just hit top 10 because that's still going to be plus odds.
When I do horse racing, I like to do I like to bet on just a place, so that way you kind of like hedge yourself
exactly. A little bit. And then I'm putting just a small, like probably half unit on him to win overall there. I think he has as good a shot as anybody. He knows how to get to the front and stay in the front on these big tracks.
Don, since we're already here,
yep,
we're going to get in the mystery box. We're going to talk about the topics that we missed this week or that are coming up. And the number one topic is the Daytona 500. Don, you're the racing guy.
Yeah.
What is the Daytona 500?
It's the start of it's the official start of the NASCAR season. We are like earlier today was the duels that they do. I forget who's the sponsor this year now, but they do 2 kind of like short 10, 15 car duels to kind of see who's going to lead. Duels are mini races that they have before the actual race to kind of do similar version of qualifying.
Yeah,
but the winner gets to take home cash. It doesn't count for any points for the regular season. Like today, there was a huge accident, and you already have 3 of the most favored drivers having to go to their backup cars now. So because you're rolling the dice to go make money.
Daytona 500. This is one of the few things I do know about it. Mm-hmm. There was a death. The last death in NASCAR recorded was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a 20th year anniversary, I think, of, is it Earnhardt?
Yeah, Earnhardt Sr.
Earnhardt Sr., 20 years ago.
Yeah, just absolute tragedy.
But I think that's when the NASCAR world like really changed, and they put a lot of emphasis on like safety.
Huge amounts of emphasis on safety. We've seen cars completely disintegrate on a track.
And people get out of it.
And they're able to walk away, which is incredible.
I mean, some guys have gone to the hospital and stuff.
But yeah, you've had like
we haven't had deaths. We haven't had paralyzations.
Yes,
we haven't had stuff like that.
Nothing career-ending,
which is, in 20 years of a sport of giant chunks of metal flying 200 miles an hour past each other, is such a insane thought process. Like, think about any freeway you drive on. There's an accident every day on those.
Yeah.
And they're not even going a fraction of what these guys are doing.
I will say the big shift is they do put restrictor plates on a lot of the cars, the cap top speeds, which, I mean, makes sense because these things are so beefed up at this point, you could probably get most of them over 300.
That's crazy.
Like, they are just wicked fast machines.
But it's okay.
Yeah,
like, they're still flying. Like, they're still
a great time to watch. Yes.
Is NASCAR racing my favorite thing? I didn't grow up racing. No. Is it one of the hardest sports to enter from a casual fan basis? Absolutely. I can't do what I do.
It is tough.
I can't do what I do with the WWE that I do with NASCAR. I can't. Yeah. I can just pop in the WWE and be like, "Hey guys, what's going on over here today?" All right, cool. I'll be back in a few months.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that in the NASCAR world.
You have to really understand cars.
Yeah.
That's one of the harder parts. And I think NASCAR it's intangibly difficult because with every other sport, what the individual puts out, even team sports, so like what LeBron does on the floor, directly factors into the outcome.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot, I mean, short of injuries, there's not a whole lot of outside influence that can affect a game.
But isn't that good for like a sport that's like, nope, it's about the ability.
It is.
Which is like,
I find that's one of the more difficult parts of motorsports is there's guys that are not on the track, but they've spent weeks building up there in pit row, just working and fine tuning this car. And any small thing that could affect the track could completely destroy the game. Like if one car spins out in front of you, it doesn't matter how fast you are and how good of a driver you are. Sometimes you're just in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Everyone's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
And that's truly what racing is it's a microcosm of chaos.
There's so much like racing is so poetic and racing is so skillful and so cool. It's just, I wish the product was the same as what the storylines and everything is. I think that's why shows like the NASCAR show on Netflix are so cool, or the Formula One show also on Netflix is also a really good show. I watch those shows. I don't watch the sport, but the way that they're able to show it, the way that you're able to feel for these athletes, I really like it. I really do enjoy it.
It's the one sport where you need to 100% understand. You will lose more times than you win.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And
it's
it
like
is
golf.
It's very mentally challenging.
Saying that, we got two more topics. I want to talk about Indiana State being ranked for the first time in college basketball since 1979.
In perspective, Larry Bird was on that team when they were number one.
I know. That's why Indiana State is the home that Larry Bird built. Saying that, they got some dogs. They got a guy who is they have guys on that team. They have a center who's going to be just take over March Madness in a few weeks. I just want to put this out on people's radar. I just want to let them know. Don't forget about Indiana State, because when you're filling out your brackets and you see Indiana State and they got to play St. Vincent's or St. Paul's or something like that, and you're like, or VCU, and you're like, well, I know VCU. Just trust me. If they get put in the right spot, they have the experience, and they're gonna win one game.
I mean, the head coach who's taken over there, Josh Schertz, he has 180 this team in 3 seasons, where they were bottom of the league when he took over, and that makes it very hard to get recruits.
Yeah.
In 3 seasons now, they're a ranked team. In 3 years, with having very minimal recruiting, he started during COVID, so you couldn't even meet with players.
So much time to build a good organization in college sports.
It's truly, but what he's done well is you have 5 players on that roster right now who are averaging double-digit points.
Ballers.
They are number 1 for adjusted field goal percentage on the season.
They're hitting the shots.
And they are number 5 scoring team in the country. And it's not just one guy putting the team on their back. He has developed a very efficient game plan spread out. I would want to see the defense step it up a little bit come March Madness. But the fact that he's gotten this team in 3 seasons to be one of the most efficient offenses in the country is terrifying.
So everyone that's like, I don't like new NBA, I miss defense, I miss gameplay of how basketball used to be, go watch college. College is right there, buddy. It's there, and then people are like, well, they're not as good. Well, dude, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Do you want to watch the sport how it was meant to be played, or do you want to go watch a bunch of superstars score as much as they can? That's what those 2 leagues are.
Yeah.
And I love college basketball. I think at its purest form, it's the best organized sport that we have on the planet. I think it's absolutely 100% the best because it's so unregulated. It's awesome.
As much as they try.
Speaking about college.
Yes.
This is something we added onto the docket today. It's the last thing we're going to talk about.
Sure.
It's my favorite thing we're going to talk about. NCAA Football, the video game, is coming back.
Yes, it's
I
official.
love this video game. I've talked about this before, how I gave my old Xbox that had the game to a Boys and Girls Club, and it's the worst decision of my life. I wish I had it still. I saw the trailer. They showed no gameplay, and it got me hyped. Like, I was at work, so excited. The only person that's poo-pooed me is you.
Oh, and it's because I'm worried. Because my first question. So it's been rumored for months that NCAA was going to come back in some. But the rumors have picked up in the last few months. My first question when this got officially announced, because you were excited when we were talking about it. My first thing was who's the game developer?
It's EA.
And EA if it was 2K, I'd be ecstatic. But
I mean, 2K's not been making good video games.
No, they haven't. But it's more than EA, because what I'm fearful for, without seeing any gameplay yet, is this is just going to be a reskin of Madden,
and that's okay for me.
Is it okay? And that's the difference in our perspectives.
I'm going to say something.
Sure.
Madden's not bad. I think the gameplay of Madden isn't as polished as it should be. Are there still glitches? Yes. Every game has glitches.
Yeah.
It's hard to play a game of simulated sports with 22 CPUs, computer-generated players on the field, all working in complete, perfect synergy.
I mean, you get that with a lot of open world.
Correct, but there are glitches in most of those games. Like, if you're going to play a simulation for 10 straight hours, guesses are you're going to hit a couple hiccups. That's going to happen.
That is true.
Now, are they as blatant as they are that EA does? No. Do I want Madden to have more features to make the game a little bit more lived in and just more open face stuff? Like, I don't know, when you're drafting a team, maybe be able to see the roster that you're drafting for
That'd be nice.
drafting. That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
That's just, off the top of my head because I play Madden every single day for the past 10 years. Guess what I'm going to do when this video game comes out? I'm going to call off work. I'm going to sit in this room. I'm going to play NCAA football. I'm going to take, I don't know, Eastern Arkansas to a national title because that's why I'm excited. I don't care if the gameplay is that awful. I don't care if they just ring it in and it's a Madden reskin because it's not about that. It's about the crowd. It's about me becoming a great coach. It's about me creating storylines. It's about me caring and doing like mental math and talking about how this guy didn't get recruited here. I got to go recruit this guy from Eastern Alabama and I got to go over here to Iowa. Oh my God, did I make enough time for practice? That's what NCAA is about and I'm so excited.
I feel if you're making this big of a game and you're putting the money that EA has, half that should be in the game and it shouldn't have to be fallen to the user to make up those stories themselves. And that's me.
You're 100% correct.
And that I hope, because NCAA 14, which was the last one to come out, incredible game. Because it had all those components built in.
For sure. And it was really well game. I mean,
and
it
still has live lobbies going. People still update the rosters.
Update graphics.
I want that game.
I want that game at least for the Xbox, for the PlayStation,
yes,
for the PCs.
I want that brought to this point. It doesn't have... If they just take the original 2014 code, just upgrade it to run on modern servers, that'd be enough. That's all they have to do, and I think fans would be excited.
Of course they're not going to do that. I already know they're going to Ultimate Team this game. I already know they're going to have a battle pass. I already know that they're going to do some dumb stuff that has half the community hate them. But as long as they have Dynasty mode, I'm going to buy the game. And I'm going to play hundreds of hours of it.
Yeah, most people are going to end up with this game. I mean, Madden still sells crazy numbers every season.
Here's the cool thing about NCAA. You don't have to do what Madden does every year. You don't have to release an NCAA video game every year. No. You can do it every 3 years, and we will buy it. As long as you put in work into it.
Well, the fans will do the work for you.
Correct.
Yes.
The community, college football community is amazing. College athletics community is fantastic. One last thing before we end.
Yes.
I have a parlay for us.
Sure.
It's a Saturday-Sunday hockey game.
Ooh.
I'm calling it the Weekend Frenzy, the Freezing Frenzy. I got 2 games. That's it. 2 money line games. We're going to take the Flyers against the Devils, and we're taking the Islanders versus the Rangers.
That's a good one.
The Islanders-Rangers games are like...
Those are bloodbaths. I love watching those.
Plus 415.
Okay.
2 money lines. Sit back. Watch a game on Saturday. Watch a game on Sunday. No more football. Go watch some college basketball on Saturday as well.
Great way to spend the weekend.
It's going to be a bloodbath. I can't wait for this weekend. That parlay is going to be a blast. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Bust Picks. Go check us out on TikTok, on Twitter. We're out there. We're making noise. My name is Dio.
Don?
Pray for the parlay.